What up YouTube, Rotocut Gaming here, bringing you another cryptocurrency related video, and I wanted to make a video documenting all the steps that I have to do to change out a motherboard and a CPU that failed on me recently with a brand sort of new one that I bought from the internet from Nerd Gears. And this is a video to show through and through what it is that we got to go through to change a system that failed and what you will experience as far as screens and issues and all that stuff pertaining to a change out. And sometimes we don't want to go through that, but it happens. You know, this thing just completely failed on me. It was pretty old. It was a Gigabyte GA, Z68XP UD3, really old. It had DD3 memory. The processor was fairly old. It was working up until last week, and it just decided to fail on me. And I remember going to Red Panda Mining's YouTube channel, and he suggested go to Nerd Gears and look for a starter kit. I did order one of these a while back, the H81 PRO BTC motherboard. Comes with the starter kit. It comes with a CPU in it. It comes with a DDR3 memory stick in it. It already is tested. It should work theoretically. The only thing different about this particular motherboard is that you do have to have this connector plugged in, the Molex connector on this side and this side. I do it just in case. I have a modular PSU, the EVGA 650 GA, so I'll be able to just put this in the peripheral slot and get that going. That's the only difference as far as your regular motherboard and a mining motherboard that I've noticed so far in my mining career. So I did that before on another one, on another mining run, and it worked out great. But I'll be changing it out, showing you guys roughly what it is that you will be expecting if you ever to do this in the future. I am only gonna have one GPU in it, 3080 Ti. This is not a full 6 GPU rig. It's gonna be just a solo miner, 3080 Ti. Right now I have LOLMINER geared towards the mining of it. I'm using Simplemining OS, and I will show you what it is that I gotta go through as far as, registering this and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's get to it, and it should be a fairly simple process, and I'll show you guys the screen and all the shenanigans that this change out will entail. All right, check it out. And when changing motherboards, what I like to do is I plug in the CPU connector first and the motherboard connector to the motherboard prior to me putting it in the case, because I find it that sometimes it's a lot more difficult getting a nice little snug clip going into the motherboard with these clips, and so I just do that beforehand. Wanted to document that, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it really does help me out in my builds. Another thing that I do is I immediately identify the power switch, a little connector here, so I can put it inside the motherboard, and I do that before plugging in the video card. That way, you're not really crunched in there trying to look for spaces, issues, and all that stuff. So I do that beforehand and let it rip. Okay, I got it installed. Now time to secure those screws on the motherboard to the case and keep continuing with the build. Alright, so I got the screws already in place. Next one is to connect the peripheral connection there. Like I said, this is a modular power supply, so all I gotta do is just make sure I route it correctly and make sure it's secured. And I realized that without looking at the routing options, I had this one and this one flipped, and I just basically did that way I got more slack going through here and then coming down over here, so I can connect it over here to the peripheral slot. I believe that'll work for my case. So the next step is the video card. This hefty video card is pretty heavy. I'm gonna have this thing standing up, so I bought a little bracket that's actually gonna hold it in place, and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna end up doing with this. So I noticed, because this is a new Bitcoin or mining minded motherboard, this little bracket, the PCI Express, doesn't have the little notch that it normally has. It has this little PCIe riser friendly little notch. So you just gotta make sure that you put it all the way to the right before you install it. and then have plenty of space here for your GPU brackets to go to. I noticed because my video card, my 3080 Ti, is pretty thick. It might have interference here on my particular. Oh man, this is dirty. On my particular case. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it's got like 1 or 2 millimeters of clearance, but I'll check it out and show you guys. All right, I got this thing seated. I believe it made good connection. This hard drive little housing bay is acting as the holder for it. It's actually resting on it. There's a plastic cover here for the fan, so there shouldn't be any issues. I'm about to secure this and boot it up and see where it takes us. All right, so we got the power to the GPU connected, power to the PCI Express and all the peripherals, CPU connector, motherboard connector, RAM seated correctly, no issues, CPU fan, all that good stuff. Power connector here, no loose wires here, no connections. This modular PSU ready to go. So it's just a matter of connecting this thing to the outlet and connecting the Simplemining OS hard drive USB 3. Hopefully it'll work right off the get-go. If not, we're gonna have to troubleshoot it. The scariest thing is post. Make sure that it posts and produces a video out. And I'm gonna connect the HDMI to the video graphics outlet first, output first. If it doesn't, then probably switching it over to the motherboard's HDMI. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. All right, got this thing connected. The monitor and the computer connected. I got my LAN connected, USB keyboard connected, have HDMI connected. Moment of truth. I'm about to turn it on. I'm not expecting this yellow light or orange light to actually go blue. It's a crapshoot. It's a 50-50 chance that the video out is gonna come out of the GPU. But if it doesn't, you know, like I said, I'm just gonna switch it over to the HDMI right here, and we'll see what's going on. Let me turn off the flash. Let me turn it on. Oh, mistake number 1. Power supply on. I believe it started back up on its own. I see the fan, the CPU fan. There's no image out. The fans are on the GPU. So I'm gonna take a guess, and hopefully it was pre-configured to the point of loading the image through the onboard GPU. Nothing here. I was hoping to see this white light over here. It's not on. This is what's scary when it comes to doing these things. Not seeing post. I think the only thing I can do is reset the CMOS and go from there. That's, in my opinion, the only thing I can do. Although it's not frozen per se, because the keyboard, you know, I can change the lights. Usually when it's frozen completely, that never shows any movement. Okay, I do have everything corrected. Why did this happen? So a couple of things. No matter how much of an expert you think you are, make sure that your connections are correct. The HDMI in the back of this monitor was loose. I literally had to like jiggle the cable and connect it all the way in. So that's why I wasn't showing anything on the screen, because it wasn't connected correctly. All right, and then in addition to that, I did get a video out by moving the HDMI into the motherboards. All right, so I forgot to actually put my Simplemining OS stick in it. I'm about to turn this thing off, put it in, and see where it takes us. Hopefully it's a plug and play type deal. I got this thing plugged in. Simplemining OS right here on a USB 3.0 stick. Let me turn this on. Sorry if I'm all over the place. All right, I'm looking for a white light. Here we go. All right. Hey, look at this. Right off the bat, It took it. It literally took it. Okay, we're in business. It does this every time for some reason. All right, waiting for IP. Come on, work your magic. After the third or fourth, it takes it. All right, it took it. It recognized the IP. It kind of gave it its own name. You hear that? The fans are going. We're in business. I already had this Simplemining OS loaded, preloaded to it. Okay, it's failing. Okay. It's giving me some errors here, host. So this is promising. So what I need to do is, oh, okay, it says go to Simplemining and click add rig button. Okay, all right, I'll walk you guys through that. So I'm very optimistic, so I just got to do some changes on the dashboard. I'm just going to keep recording and show you guys what it is, and then I can show you through the dashboard what it is that I got to do to rename this and get it working to how I want it. Okay, I am in Simplemining here on my desktop, and if I recall correctly, because I changed motherboards and all that good stuff, it's telling me to register a new rig. So let me do that. Let me see if I can get that going. Where was it? Add rig. Allow adding rig for 12 hours. Wait, did it take it? Did it take it? It took it. It took it. Okay. So I saw this thing just pop up in there, and it's giving it, what is it giving it? No, this thing, no name. 97F. I'm gonna pause this thing because I don't want it to mine whatever it's mining. Okay, it gave it a Raven coin. I had a previous setting. Okay, so let me show you guys real quick that I want to get rid of this one. It's no longer usable to me. Delete that. This rig, I want to name it. Let me type. Okay. The 3080 Ti Solo, and then I'm gonna put a 3080 Ti. And then on the group configuration, I already have something going for it. If you notice right here, if I put 3080 Ti, I already have 3080 Ti, LOLMINER, 2 miners. This is what I want. And then use group OC, yes. And then I had already one pre-made called 3080 Ti LOL miner settings done, and I believe that's it. So save and reload. So now it renamed the rig. I got this thing going over here, and I'm going to hit resume. All right, rig is in pause mode. Now it's reloading it. Okay, it's setting the power limits and all my settings, and it looks like it's going. So now it's gonna calibrate. LOLMINER is gonna use this LHR 78 to 80% calibration mode, and that's where the rubber is gonna meet the road to see whether this thing is gonna be hashing at my previous 92.5 mega hash prior to me changing out the motherboards and this whole ordeal. But that's what I'm hoping to see. All right, I'll give it a minute. It takes anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 minutes to calibrate, and then we'll see it go. Don't go anywhere. All right, so it's still calibrating. It's been a few minutes. Right now it shows you 42.9% LHR percentage. So I'm hoping to see this at 77, 78, maybe 80. Right now is at this 3080 Ti is mining at 62 mega hash. We'll let it calibrate for a little bit more, but hoping to see better numbers, obviously. Alright, so it's been 4 or 5 minutes. It says initial LHR calibration completed. I'm really curious to see where it lands. Right now, I don't mind this. But look at this, it's shooting up when I go up on the screen here on Simplemining OS. It's, oh look, 92.43. That was exactly where I was aiming at. 92.46. Like I said, nothing changed as far as the GPU, right? I just changed the motherboard, and we're in business now. We should be ready to go. And now I just gotta make sure that I put that motherboard, I mean not motherboard, the CPU, where it was in the room that I kept it in. But really happy, super easy process, so to speak, right? As soon as you replace it with this mining starter kit, it was plug and play. Literally plug and play. Make sure you actually have all your stuff plugged in correctly and it should work. But I will go through the BIOS. I'll give that a look, show you guys the settings in case anybody has this motherboard and is having issues. Review it and see what changes you gotta make. But I'm gonna turn this off. I now know that I am mining where I need to be with this LHR card and the latest LOLMINER program. And we're in business. Again, just to show you guys, I do have 4 rigs using mining this SMOS mining system, operating system rather. And I didn't go into details as far as, you know, setting it up from scratch, right? I have another video regarding that, but I wanted to show you what it is that you guys go through whenever you do these motherboard changeouts. So obviously I had to add a rig, I showed you guys, and renaming, but my settings and everything that I had prior, it was just an easy drop down menu. I obviously kept a really good organizational naming scheme and all that, but just be mindful of that for any future references. Again, my USB stick was already pre-configured with SMOS. I really didn't have to do anything. It was literally just plug and play, because my Mobo and my CPU, all that stuff went kaput, and replacing it was a pretty simple process. Costly, as far as, you know, it cost me $162, I think, to get that combo. But I'd rather, you know, keep mining and then miss out. But, you know, well worth it in my opinion. Alright, I'm back here on my computer. Let me turn this thing off. Let me restart it. Show you the BIOS. Let me restart it. And go to the BIOS. Delete. Okay. So this is the H81 PRO BTC BIOS. I guess it's version 1.30. Sorry if I'm shaking. I'm in this couch. I'm not in the most ergonomically correct position right now. But right here, OC tweaker, I don't think you gotta do much, but these are the settings. Everything seems to be in auto, nothing too crazy about it. See, what kind of processor did they ship me? They sent me a G1840T, 250 gigahertz. Like I said, you don't really need much. I don't think I said it, sorry, but it's implied that GPU mining, it's really using your GPU, not your CPU. So you just need a motherboard, a decent motherboard, CPU, processor, and all that good stuff. But that's what came with this starter kit. On the advanced side, CPU configuration, everything seems to be auto. Package C state support seems to be disabled. Chipset configuration. Primary graphics adapter. See, this was already set on onboard. That's why I had to set my HDMI connector to the motherboard's HDMI output, not the GPUs. So this is a confirmation of that. PCIe 2 link speed is at Gen 2. Hey, if it works, I'm not touching it. What I did notice on a previous build is if you have like 6 GPUs, I think this becomes an issue. I think you might have to put Gen 1 or auto. I can't recall, but for my case, I only have 1. It works. But I do recall this having having an issue with more than 4 or 5 GPUs, I believe. But I'm gonna have to play with that. Just showing the settings here for everything else. Storage configuration, nothing too crazy. Intel Smart Connection Technology, it shows enable. This menu, Super IO configuration, ACPI, just some settings, I guess. USB configuration, enable, Smart Auto, enable, disabled. And right here, Realtek PCIe. I don't think that there's any settings that you can change here. Tools, if you want to update your flash, your BIOS, got all that, all those tools readily available. Hardware monitor, really don't mess with this too much. Boot, obviously boot option, USB. If you have a USB stick or whatever you have loaded on your system, that's what obviously you want to go through. Security, nothing unless you know how to deal with this. Great. I don't really mess too much. I'm a pretty basic miner, and I like to keep it basic. All right, discard changes. I don't want to do anything. It was working fine, so I'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna restart it, and it's a beautiful thing. It starts, it works right off the bat, man. I'm loving it. Couldn't be happier. But if you stuck around this long, appreciate you stopping by. Hope this was useful to some of you guys. If not, at least I'm recording it for future reference myself. I do go back and watch my videos and say, oh, that's how I did it. Those are the settings I had. So, yeah, like I said, thanks a lot for checking out the video. Hey, the GPU is up and running. That's money. That's the money sound right there. That is cha-ching in my mind. And up and running, ready to go. It's gonna calibrate a little bit, 5 minutes or so, and then we're off to the races. All right, well, that's it. Not the most professional video. Sorry for the jankiness and the shakiness of the video, but it is what it is. Thanks. See ya.